The Cursed Mirror. Once upon a time, there was a family. Mom, Dad, and their two kids, Emily and Jack. They moved into a new house in a small town. Inside the house, there was an old mirror with a golden frame. It was big and beautiful, shining in the sunlight that streamed through the windows. The family was excited about their new home. They loved exploring every room and finding hidden treasures left behind by the previous owners. When they found the mirror in the attic, they were amazed by its beauty. Mom said it looked like something from a big museum, and Dad agreed it would be a perfect addition to their home. Emily and Jack were curious about the mirror too. They liked looking at themselves in it, making funny faces and imagining they were king and queen. The mirror seemed magical to them, showing their reflections back with a soft shine. Little did they know the mirror held a secret, a dark secret that would soon reveal itself and change their lives forever. One day, as the family moved into their new house, weird things began to happen. At first, they were little things. Mom lost her keys, even though she was positive she left them on the table. Jack's toy car vanished from his room, only to appear later in a different spot. Dad's favorite mug fell off the counter for no reason. They didn't think much of it at first. They thought they were just forgetful or that the house was settling in. But then they noticed something strange about the mirror. Sometimes, when they looked into it, they saw things that weren't there. Mom saw a shadow moving behind her, but when she turned around, there was nothing there. Jack saw his toy car rolling across the mirror's image, even though it was nowhere to be found in real life. The family started to feel scared. They tried to ignore it, but strange things kept happening. Objects would move on their own when seen in the mirror, and sometimes they heard strange whispers coming from it when they were alone in the room. They started to question if something was wrong with the mirror. Maybe it was just the way the light was hitting it, they thought. But deep down, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Little did they know, the mirror held a dark secret, and its influence was growing stronger with each passing day. As days passed, the strange happenings around the mirror grew more frequent. Mom found herself waking up in the middle of the night, feeling like someone was watching her from the mirror's image. Dad noticed that his image sometimes moved on its own, copying his movements even when he wasn't in front of the mirror. Emily and Jack became scared of the mirror. They didn't play near it anymore and wouldn't look into it at all. But no matter how hard they tried to avoid it, they couldn't get rid of the feeling of being watched whenever they were close to it. The family couldn't forget the weird things that were happening. It was getting harder and harder to pretend nothing was wrong. They felt like the mirror was spying on them, its gold frame glowing with a strange light that moved around the room wherever they went. Mom and Dad started to argue more often, their nerves worn thin from the constant tension in the house. Emily and Jack became withdrawn, their once bright smiles replaced with worried frowns. They knew they had to do something about the mirror, but they didn't know where to start. Little did they know, the mirror held a sinister power, and its influence was spreading like a dark shadow over their home. One day, Mom decided to do some research about the mirror. She went to the library and asked the librarian for help. The librarian gave her old books and newspapers to look through, hoping to find some information about the mirror's past. Mom spent hours looking closely over the dusty pages, her eyes scanning the faint text for any clue about the mirror. Eventually, she found an article from many years ago. It told the story of a family who owned the mirror and suffered from strange events just like they were experiencing. According to the article, the family's misfortune began when they brought the mirror into their home. Objects moved on their own, eerie whispers filled the air, and their lives were plagued by a sense of dread. Desperate to rid themselves of the mirror's curse, they tried everything they could think of, but nothing worked. The article ended abruptly, leaving Mom with more questions than answers. She knew she had to find out more about the mirror's history if they were ever going to break the curse. With newfound determination, she promised to find out the truth no matter what. Little did she know, the mirror held a dark secret that was far more sinister than she could have imagined. Knowing all about the mirror's scary past, Mom called everyone together to face the evil spell. They knew they had to stop the mirror's power over them before it was too late. Together, they researched ancient rituals and spells that might break the curse. They lit candles and recited incantations, hoping to cleanse the mirror of its malevolent presence. But nothing they did worked. The mirror looked exactly the same, and its surface still glowed with a scary light. As they got more and more annoyed, the mirror became even more powerful. Things flew around the room, and the whispering got louder, making the house feel weird and cold. Mom and Dad argue all the time now, and their fear and worry were tearing them apart. In the middle of all the confusion, Emily and Jack didn't lose hope. They wouldn't give up, because they believed that together they could break the curse. With newfound determination, they devised a plan to confront the mirror head-on. Standing together in front of the mirror, they called to the souls trapped there. They asked for forgiveness and begged to be freed from the magic that kept them prisoner. For a moment, it seemed like their words were heard. The mirror shook, its surface waving like water. But then, with a loud crack, it shattered into a million pieces, filling the room with dark energy. When the dust settled, the family found themselves standing in the wreckage of their home. But instead of feeling afraid, they felt a sense of peace wash over them. The curse was broken, and they were free at last. As they looked out at the sunrise, they knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them together, stronger than ever before. In the result of the mirror's breaking, the family stood among the broken pieces of their home, feeling a sense of relief wash over them. The once heavy atmosphere lifted, replaced by a new calmness. With the curse broken, Mom, Dad, Emily, and Jack worked together to rebuild their home and their lives. They cleared away the broken pieces of the mirror and the remnants of the past, eager to leave the darkness behind them. As they worked, they grew closer as a family, their bond stronger than ever before. They laughed and played together, cherishing each moment they shared. In the weeks that followed, life returned to normal in their small town. The whispers of the mirror's curse faded into memory, replaced by the sounds of laughter and joy. But the family never forgot the lessons they learned from their ordeal. They knew that even in the darkest of times, love and courage could conquer any curse. And as they looked ahead to the future, they did so with hope in their hearts, knowing that together they could overcome anything that came their way.